Tom Hand is living out his power of after. He created the Americana Corner in 2020 to share informative series and stories about the momentous events, significant documents, and influential leaders that helped create and shape our country. And through compelling articles and really captivating, well-done videos, Tom hopes to rekindle a spirit of patriotism in his fellow Americans and remind them of our nation's incredible past and why our founding fathers and our founding era still matters today. And his first book, An American Triumph, it includes 130 beautifully illustrated images. And his second book is now out, America Victorious. And he is a true patriot. And his story is truly inspiring as he is using his time and his resources to create a lasting legacy. So don't miss Tom Hand today. Stay tuned. Power of After is for you at mid-career, halftime of life, helping you maximize your skills, resources, and experience. We have courses, products, and help to make this stage of your life your best and most purposeful ever. Don't miss a single article, free download, or podcast. Get all the latest at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Well, I am so excited to welcome Tom Hand with us today. And Tom, it's so great to see you again. I got to see you a couple of years ago when we did our interview with your first book, and I love your work. It is really, for anyone who is not even, we'll make sure that you have the resources, people that click in on the show links, and I will make sure they have that. But your work is just top notch. And I kind of gave a little bit of an intro, but I love my guests to give their own background, because you do have a corporate background, actually a business background of selling your business, very successful business. And now what you're doing is living your power of after, just a great next purposeful chapter. So why don't you give our guests a little bit of a background information?
Yeah, well, thanks, Deborah. And it's great to see you again. You look great like always. And thanks for having me here. And we had a cheese business in northern Wisconsin. What else do you do in Wisconsin but make cheese for the Packer games, I guess. And but it worked out great. Shar is a CPA, so she was our CFO, and I did the sales and operations stuff. And it was just wonderful working side by side for 20 years. It was just great. And it turned out that it was getting bigger than I expected it to get, and bringing some outside professional help. But honestly, Deborah, I didn't like losing control.
Yeah.
And so we decided to take it to market. Timing was good, and a private equity firm that we really liked made us a nice offer. So we sold the business, and of course I was 58 at the time, 65 now, I guess, and had a little bit of gas left in the tank.
Yeah.
So I thought I need to do something other than rocking chair all day. And so I came up with this idea to start writing American history, which I had just read voraciously throughout most of my life. And I started writing for a couple local newspapers just to kill some time.
Right.
And the stories seemed like they resonated pretty well. And so I created this website, AmericanaCorner.com. And that was fun. And but then I thought, I want to make some videos, be a YouTube star like everybody. And so we started making some videos. They were tons of fun to make. And then we started writing some books, and then we have a big grant program. And I tell you, it's been a blessing that I never expected. It wasn't planned, but it has worked out just masterfully.
Wow. I was so inspired just hearing your story. And of course, I had read about you from Hillsdale. In fact, we were just there. And so it was really fun.
School. Yep.
But it's a wonderful college and educational program that really also all over the country with charter
Yep.
schools. And but they are very much about constitutional. They talk about, all of our freedoms and everything. They're very, very focused on that. And the drawings that you have, you can see if people are watching the video, they'll see a little bit of your background or backdrop here. It's not really a backdrop. It's a beautiful picture that you have there, one of your pictures, but all of the artwork that's in your book as well. And you have amazing paper. I love good paper. So the paper in your books,
Me too.
I really do. So you paid attention to all of the details, and I'm so excited about this book. And you really, you have invested now in this. This is self-funded, and you're able to give these scholarships. We were just talking about being self-funded, and that's what my podcast has mostly been as well, and some of my business. But it's what I believe in, and it's what I think I need to be spending my life at this point of my life doing. So this book is a little bit different than the first. Your first was magnificent. I gave some as gifts. I wanted all of my family to have it. It was an amazing book. And now this is America Victorious. I can't wait to read it. It's just out. So I don't have my copy yet. I'll do that.
Yes.
But it's about some of the lesser known patriots. So tell me just a little bit about that and why you started writing this one.
Yeah, certainly. An American Triumph, the first book, was about through my heroes from the founding era, Washington, Franklin, and John Adams. Gotta love John Adams.
Yeah.
And that was, but through my research, I realized there were so many lesser known figures that had a meaningful impact on our revolution. And so I thought I wanted to do a companion book on those lesser known figures. And that book is America Victorious. And whereas the first book talked about Franklin, Washington, and Adams and the things they touched, this book talks about all the things they didn't touch. Arnold's invasion of Canada in 1775, Nathaniel Greene and the Savior of the South, and George Rogers Clark capturing what became the Northwest Territory, the largest land acquisition from the American Revolution. And they talked about it to some other people. I realized that almost nobody knows about that stuff.
Wow.
And so I found that this particular book was more informative, perhaps, will be more informative, I think, to the general public, because we've all read about Washington and Franklin flying the kite and those kind of things. But these other guys, I wanted to write about them. And so I'm so pleased with it, and I'm anxious to get it out.
Isn't that fun to be just, you got to let it go. Yeah. It's, I talk about, you can't wait till perfect. You try to get it as good, as perfect as possible. And then you just have to let it go. And,
you're a writer yourself, you just edit it to death. I know you.
And it's a little nerve-wracking going, did I forget anything? Did I miss anything? And it's horrible. It's horrible when you're actually, because I do my audiobooks as well. It's horrible when you're reading your audiobook and go, oh, darn, I missed a punctuation there.
Exactly.
A little tiny. And you've gone through this a million times. You've had an editor go through it, and there's always a little something. You can't just sweat all of that stuff, because most people won't even see it. But as the product that you put out is just so top quality. So that's what I want to emphasize as well as the research. I mean, you have a team, you've got, but you really, really spend some time on good research there. So, and you have this grant.
I just want to say one thing about the book.
Yes, please.
I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit.
Oh, it's good.
I tried to make the book, from a marketing standpoint, something that would be interesting and appealing to the general public. Found so many authors write for other authors, or they write for other people in the academic field. And spending so much time in my factories, I realized there's a lot of guys who want to know a little bit about the stuff, but don't want a 500-page book like John Meacham writes, great writer.
Yes.
Very deep.
Yes.
And so I thought, I'm going to write something for these guys, and I'm going to give them plenty of pictures.
Yeah, that's
I create 15, 20 maps for each one of the books, because I'm talking to these guys. This is what they like.
Mhm.
And so, and then anyway, so yeah, the quality is designed to be one of those high-priced coffee table books, but we price it so that the average guy can afford it and buy it and enjoy the book. So
And you did that for the last book, and I was able to buy copies for my family. That's what I wanted, to
yeah,
be able to do because, it adds up,
yes,
and not that you don't wanna be generous, but you have done it in a way that makes it very, very reasonable for the quality that it is.
thank you,
I mean, it
appreciate
is
it. Yeah,
just a great quality. And as I said, I love great paper. You use great paper. That's what I
yeah,
just
thank you.
that's always fun. And a lot of illustrations. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot. I've worked in a creative field for so long, and I'm very visual. And there's a lot of people that are very visual when
Yes,
they can start imagining. And, we visited some of these places, but when you can start like imagining, those scenes as
yes.
reenacted and
Yes.
the artist drawings, and they're excellent. They're beautiful. Yeah, they're
There's
really,
so
really
much beautiful art in our nation's past that most people just don't know about. People know about the painting here, the Trumbull painting, but there are so many great pieces of art, and I wanted to share them with the public.
Yeah, that's so great. That's wonderful. And to have a resource for that. So, and you still have a grant program.
We
And
do.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you really. So, I mean, we talked about this, and I'll make sure everyone also has the link to the past episode that we did. That was at least 2 to 3 years ago now that we did that.
Yeah.
I can't believe how time passes. Oh my goodness.
I know it
It's
does.
like,
It
and I'm
does.
not getting any older. I'll just tell you that. Okay. So, Preserving America grant program. Tell us about that and what sort of grants, what some of the most exciting ones that you have given recently?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the Preserving America Grant Program was a way that something I came up with to give back to other Americans and to help other historic sites tell their part of the great American story. Yeah, we've been blessed financially more than I ever thought I would be, and so Sharon and I felt like we wanted to help out where we could.
Yeah,
And there's only one of us, or two of us, and there's a whole lot of people out there that have a great historic story to tell.
right.
And so we came up with this program idea, this grant program, and every November 15th to December 15th, the grant window opens,
Mhm,
and for a month we get in applications. They're typically $10,000 grants, so
mhm,
they're not earth shattering grants, but we give out about 100 to 120 a year.
mhm.
Um, and this will be, I think, year 6 of doing that, and it's just been
Wow.
phenomenal. It might be to fix a roof on a
Mhm.
house, where, I don't know, Betsy Ross lived, or it might be
Yeah.
to, fix to put a new signage
Mhm,
at a historic site in the Shenandoah Valley,
mhm,
all kinds of different things. And, um, and what we found is that some of these organizations, they really have even a bigger story to tell.
mhm,
They're professionally run. They, not necessarily with a large staff, but they just seem like they get it.
mm,
So one of the expansions of our grant program is something called Preserving America Partners.
mhm,
And so a place like Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania, or Fort Ticonderoga, or Fort Ligonier, will launch into a 5-year program with them, 25,000 a year.
mhm.
So some of these bigger programs take longer to get off the
Right.
ground. And and we just started that probably 2 years ago, and we have some great partners. We get more deeply involved with what we're doing. We don't teach them or tell them how to run their site. We don't do that, but
Right.
it gives us a chance to really get deeply involved in one aspect of their operation, and it's just been so meaningful to do that. And so it's been a real blessing to me to get to know them all
Mhm.
better.
Isn't that great? It just
It
kind of,
is.
your impact is growing. Your effect of what you're doing is growing. So you have more connections with people, and how exciting it is. It is truly exciting to see people growing and businesses grow, and
It
how,
isn't it though.
yeah,
Yes.
it's very, very exciting. And I love to see that
And
going,
it makes you feel so good to give. Now, we all like
yes, it
presents. I get
does.
that, but
Hmm.
it makes you feel great to be able to give and help out too. And especially, an organization that doesn't get much funding.
Right.
And so to get the $10,000 check to fix up something at their site, it's a big deal.
Yeah. It is. And you visit some of these places and you take it for granted, and you go into these beautiful places and you go, wow, this is the place where, Washington and his group, they like went over and they had to go through on the boats and you see all the artwork and you see the beautiful building and the restrooms work and, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That takes money, that takes funds, and it takes, and many times those are harder resources to come by. So that's wonderful for you to have that passion with your business too. To be able to
it's interesting. I'll expand just a little bit on that if I may.
Yes.
One of the, you touched on that, these organizations, they need money.
Yes.
And yet the charities, and so in some ways they don't know how to operate as a business. And so one of the things that we've created is something called a Preserving America conference. And it's a way of teaching. We bring people together, 20 organizations each year. We're having one in December here in Franklin.
Oh, that's fun.
And we're going to bring people together. They network with people that have already made it happen, that have had success. And it's a way to teach them best practices of how to operate a charity as a business.
Wonderful.
How to raise revenue, how to increase awareness, how to have a greater impact perhaps with the school kids in the area, that kind of thing. And always with an eye towards revenues and expenses. And it's been so meaningful that the first time we did this, we just got great feedback, which was great. But I think they went back home and they realized, this is harder.
Yes.
than it sounded at the conference, because you go back home, you have to execute, right?
Yeah.
At the conference, it's fun.
Yeah.
And dreaming ideas and thinking big thoughts, and then you have to go home and make it happen. But they struggle a little bit with that, but at least they're on the right path, though, I think.
Yes. It's like being an entrepreneur. I get it.
They push it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's just a lot to do. I'd just rather spend all my days creating, but no, you got to market. You got to, you got to do the budget. You got to, we were just talking about that. It's some work,
All that mundane stuff has to be done. You're right about that.
It really, really does. And one of my worst favorite things to do is do all the reconciling. It's just not it's not fun for me. But after I do it, I feel great, because then I go, okay, I can make it's wonderful that way. And we're starting to, accept a few sponsors. I've been self-funded. So to be able to do that, but it still takes your track record. You need to know your numbers and, all of that. So it takes some back end work. So all of that. And I'm glad
you've been so successful. I'm not surprised people want to sponsor you. I mean, you've been for a long time, and good for you.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. I just found that I fell in love with podcasting because of not only my production background, but
Isn't it fun to talk to people?
It is great. I get to talk to people all over the world, and I really love that. I love the interview process. It creates a speaking platform for me as well. And this is part of this, I built into my own recording studio because of this, so I could get more experience. So I need to get more experience. And plus, my husband comes on with me once a month and he's a kick. So has a lot of corporate experience. So that adds, quite a bit. I'm a lifetime entrepreneur. And I'm so glad you mentioned that this conference that you're having at the end of the year. How wonderful that now you are feeding into these people in an expanded way. And so that's very, very important. They have to be able to do their books.
I found talking with these organizations is they want to make it happen. They just don't know how.
Yes.
And so I thought, well, maybe we can teach them how. And so we bring in people who had success at their historic site. And that started from next to nothing. And we do little panels, and I moderate, and we talk about these things. And the people that are attending, they're just riveted on the edge of the seat. You can just tell when an audience is engaged or when they're sleeping. And,
you can, can't you?
Well, you can tell, right? And these guys were engaged, and it's just been so meaningful to do that. And they stay connected.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's I just came from a conference that I was at, our National Speaking Association, and I was president of our LA chapter for a year. But it's and wonderful to show up. You've got all these people that are. I mean, this is an entrepreneurial business. It's a companion business to where I was and have been in the music business. It's the same, very
Yeah.
similar, and some of the same, even the same contacts. So, but learning how to build a business, it's
Yep.
just and having that interaction with people going through the same exact thing.
Yep.
A little bit different areas. Not everybody's doing everything I'm doing, but it's the same sort of thing. And how wonderful you're doing that, because they could relate to those historical sites. Now, if I went to that, it's like, okay, I'm not doing that. But the business principles, you can always gain. You can always gain
Yes.
something from that. That's a wonderful thing for almost anybody. And you have a couple other things because you have videos. So let's talk
I
about.
do. Yeah.
Yes, I know
Um,
you have a lot. I wish. I need to get on your site and watch more of your videos because they are done really, really well. Like the Lewis and Clark expedition. And of course, I read the whole book on that, how fascinating that was. And it's amazing. But you've done like a video on that. So talk a little bit about your some of your videos and some of your favorites and how you've expanded that.
yeah, certainly. First of all, we just celebrated our 250th video
Wow.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. That was a big milestone for us. Um, but the videos they're a lot of fun to make. I make them all here at the house,
That's
at my
great.
studio. This is the studio, the backdrop
That's
for
great.
it.
Yep.
We had a little 18th century outfit I wear with a little ascot,
Oh, that's
little Ben
great. Oh,
Franklin
I
glasses,
love that.
and yeah, everybody's got to have a shtick, right? So that's kind of
Right.
my thing.
Right.
And I take the story that we post every Tuesday, which is about
Mhm.
1,000 words,
Mhm.
and we compress it down to about 350 words, and it takes about 3 minutes to run through the video.
Mhm.
Um, I make all the A roll myself. And then I send the A roll with I don't know 40 or 50 image suggestions
Mhm.
to a video company, and they put the B roll pictures on top of my voice,
Mhm.
and we put out one every week. And honestly, we're getting 200 to 250,000 views every week, and
That's so great.
I'm shocked. But it's phenomenal. It's just wonderful that people are enjoying what we're doing.
That's very, very cool. How fun. Well,
Oh, it
you've
is
done
fun.
yeah, you've done a little bit of that legwork, and it's like me, I'm trying to hand off more of my business of just,
Yeah.
it's hard, when you've done everything. And, but yeah, preparing your video team so they can create the video ideal. Because it's just it's a time sucker doing video editing. It just is. But
Content.
if you can have that, done, but you've provided the images, quality images too.
Right. Yeah, the
So
content's you're
yeah,
the
it is.
creator.
Yes.
And that's the
Yes.
thing you can't give up, right? The
No,
content.
no, I can't give that
Right.
up. Yep. Yep. The content creator there has to be that, that behind everything. So anyway, I want to talk about a couple more things. And you had mentioned some of the underappreciated. You mentioned these a little bit earlier about the underappreciating founding fathers, but can you highlight that just a tiny bit more? And then I wanted to get to Benedict Arnold because there's a name. There's a
Oh,
name. Okay, I wanted to know how you approach that one.
yeah. There are, to create this country, it took a lot of people, men, women,
Yes.
devoted patriots.
Right.
And yeah, and there are some phenomenal figures in
Mm.
history, some
Mhm.
tragic figures. Arnold is
Yes.
tragic figures,
Yeah.
and but yeah, some of the more compelling ones. George Rogers Clark
Mm.
comes to mind. He's one of the feature guys in America Victorious. Uh, he had a dream. He was living in Kentucky, barely educated.
Mm.
Um, and by the way, the oldest brother, William Clark,
Okay.
Lewis and Clark fame, uh, West with Lewis, and anyway, it's another story. But anyway, um, he had this dream of capturing a portion of the province of Quebec, which at the time of the Revolution extended to the Ohio River. So Canada and Quebec was Ohio and Indiana and Illinois. That was all the province of Quebec, all the way to the Mississippi. And he was living in Kentucky, and he had this dream that that land to the Great Lakes could be American. And so he and 171 guys got in some boats and went down the Ohio River cross country to a place called Kaskaskia in Illinois now.
Okay.
I won't go into the whole story, but anyway, so he captures this. He gets almost no funding from anybody.
Wow.
And they go across and make a winter march over, capture Vincennes. And so anyway, at the end of the war, because we had this territory very lightly defended, grant you that. Because he did that at the end of the war, it became American property.
Wow.
And if he hadn't done that on his own with these 170 guys, Canada would still extend to the Ohio. We only got it because Clark had conquered that and held it for all those years. And phenomenal, but no one knows about that. And so he's one of those recognized figures in our past.
Wow.
Anyway, I could go all day.
If people want to know more, they have to click into the video and watch you with the little glasses.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Big selling point. That's right.
Yeah. But how great that you are telling those stories. Yeah. What a wonderful educational tool to our kids.
Well,
I mean, our kids don't know history. And I mean, that's one of the biggest fallacies. If you don't know history, you'll repeat it, so especially the bad things. So we need to understand what happened and also be grateful for our freedoms in the past, because there's so much that's been fought for that with this country. And knowing you can't just read the media on that. You have to know what the research says.
Yeah, it's interesting when you study revolutions in world history, especially from that same rough time area. You think about the French Revolution, was peasants largely held down by the Bourbon family, the peasants in Russia, held down by the Tsar. The guys that rebelled in America, they weren't peasants. George Washington was one of the great landowners.
Wealthy,
yes. Right.
So they had money. Yeah.
They had money. The system was working for them.
Yes, it was. Capitalism was working.
Everything. Ben Franklin. Everything.
Yeah.
To go fight the greatest power
in
the world. And, so it's amazing what the risks they took when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
People forget that.
And hearing those stories, I mean, they didn't have their shoes wore out. So they're, marching through the snow. And
those are true stories.
Those are true stories. And they fought for our freedoms. Yep. And we don't want to give up our freedom. You go to any other country that doesn't have those freedoms, hey, go right ahead. But there's a huge difference. There is a huge difference in being able to have those freedoms, be able to work and not have them take everything. Own land. That was one of the biggest things, is to be able to own our own land, because they fought hard for that they could actually own their land, and they weren't just leasing it from or just borrowing from. When the British were here, they couldn't own land. So they fought for all of that to be able to actually, and that was a big deal. To my grandparents, it's a big deal. To them, owning land was huge. So, and of course, great parents are great, but that was a big deal. That was more important.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. And to control their own destiny, and to, the founding fathers were a phenomenal group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, timing is key, as you know, and Enlightenment teachings were very prevalent then. John Locke and Montesquieu and those great European thinkers. And Jefferson embraced them, and Adams and all the other founding fathers. But it just what they sacrificed, the chances they took, pretty phenomenal. And it's interesting, after the war, of course, they viewed it differently. Great Britain was no longer the enemy. And so then
Yes.
Washington and Adams,
Mhm. Yeah.
Hamilton took one side, and Jefferson, Madison took the other side. But they never really turned on each other the way
Yeah.
they might have verbally. They certainly
Yeah.
did, but not like they did in France and some of the other places. And so our revolution was really as peaceful as any that you read about in world history.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
post-revolution. I'm not talking
post
about,
yeah. Right.
but even in India, Pakistan,
Mm.
they splintered apart after the British left, and but
Mhm.
it's pretty phenomenal when you think about how we had the peaceful transition from John Adams to Jefferson, completely different parties.
Mhm.
Did it peacefully. John Adams went home to Massachusetts, probably grumbling. But that's all he
Yep.
was, grumbling. And Jefferson took over, and so it's just that it's even that's pretty phenomenal. Washington
Mhm.
rendering his commission
Yeah.
peaceful in
Yeah.
Annapolis. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm more interested now at this point in my life in history than I am.
Yeah.
My history. I still remember my main history in junior high school, and I had a bigger crush on the guy in front of me instead of like studying history. It was like, and I'm so inspired as we visit these places, and then my husband knows more about it. It's like, okay, I'm going to study him, and so, but then it becomes alive for me. So, and I love it that you've done the videos because that it's different than watching those black and white reels that are going on that we used to have to. That's when I'm falling asleep and I'm thinking, okay, is this
Yeah.
So this is vibrant. It's full of information and fun. Interactive. That's a wonderful thing. So okay, so let's get to that Benedict Arnold. 'Cause he's such a shady character. Ends up being this shady character. And so, what do you talk about him?
Yeah, Benedict Arnold was arguably the greatest battlefield commander in
Mm,
American Continental Army.
mhm,
Um, he he and courageous
mhm,
and born leader, all kinds of great things. Um, but he wasn't politically connected,
mm,
and so after his, it was an unsuccessful invasion of
mhm,
Canada, granted, but it was great for American morale.
right.
Fought the Battle of Valcour Island. I won't go into details on that, but a phenomenal effort on his part.
Yeah.
He's really the hero of Saratoga.
Mm,
He's Fort Stanwix when it's besieged by a British force.
mm,
On and on and on. But he through it all, he was never really appreciated by
mm,
the Congress. He was tough to take,
yeah.
um, and Congressmen didn't like him. And so it came for
Mhm,
promotions. They gave promotions to their buddies, and so it turned
mm,
him sour. He was twice shot in the same leg,
mhm,
about 2 inches shorter, so he was crippled for life.
mm.
But his fall from grace, if you will,
Yes.
occurred when he married what I say was the wrong woman.
Oh,
Peggy
okay.
Shippen,
Okay.
sort of a romance there that
Mhm,
she was a flirtatious girl, 18, real pretty
mm,
apparently.
mm,
Good friends with a lot of British officers when they occupied Philadelphia.
yeah.
They move out. Arnold comes in, takes over the command of Philadelphia garrison, and
Mm,
she encourages him
mhm,
to start corresponding with Major Andre, and
mm.
anyway, the rest is history. So he turns
Yeah.
and tries to give away West Point, and I think people know
Mhm.
about that part of it. But
Yes.
he was one of the great
Mm,
patriots before the war, and he's another guy. He was the wealthiest guy in New
yeah.
Haven, Connecticut, hugely wealthy, great, successful merchantman, gave it all
Mhm,
up to help the American cause, and then I think he turned bitter, and
mhm.
we lost him, and
Oh,
the rest
yeah.
of his life was just downhill. It just,
Yeah.
tried this and he tried that, but it never worked out. So what's my opinion of him? I mean, he's there for us when he was, and sorry
Yeah.
that he turned.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that something?
It is something.
It
Phenomenal story, though.
Yeah, it is phenomenal because I learned more about him really in a documentary that I was watching that it came alive for me more on that. And, you have to watch who's producing it and the whole thing, but then it becomes, having the visuals and having the storytelling behind it, it becomes a lot more relevant and actually knowing a lot of that history about how wealthy these men were, and it was the men. I mean, there were some women involved, but it was mostly, they were out there. The women were raising kids, and they were,
Yep.
doing, everything else that was
Right.
done at that period of time.
That's right.
Yeah, but they were important as well. But the risks they had, and I think of like Marshall Washington, and they had, George Washington. He was out. There was no rapid transit. I mean, they were out for months at
No,
a time.
it's not.
If you're kind of missing, thinking, oh my goodness, he has to travel for a week or whatever, I mean, these guys were gone months. And now of course, we have military. Some of them are gone for, of course, months, a year or something. So you have to see what the sacrifice, all of that entails. So that's,
Washington, what the
yeah.
self-discipline. People
Yeah.
probably don't know. He was gone. He left
Mhm.
home about in May of 1775 to take command of the troops around Boston.
Mhm.
And for 8 years, he was home 8 days.
Oh,
8 years. Now he's the commander. No,
yes.
tell him no. I'm going
Right.
home on leave. Never. And he spent
Yeah.
every single winter encampment with his soldiers. Martha joined him. Boy,
Yeah.
don't she didn't have to do that. And
No, she didn't. She
and
was a
then
tough cookie. Yeah.
she ran a plantation while he was gone.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I visited that
phenomenal,
plantation. That was no small plantation. That
phenomenal
was
lady.
yeah, it really
Yeah,
is. It really is.
but impressive couple. Yeah, very, very impressive.
Yeah. Well, Tom, is there anything else that you wanted to say? And this, I'm going to make sure everyone has the link to that new book, which is amazing, and making sure they get your other one. They're very, very reasonable. You just have to check them out and check out your videos, which are all free to watch. Everything, it's great. They're on YouTube. But anything else that you want to say to our
Well, I
audience?
just think I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk. I will plug book 3 is on in
Wow.
the works now.
And what's
Uh,
that called? Are you going to reveal any of
it's
the
going to be
title?
called Onward America. I'm trying to include the word America in each one of
Oh,
these books.
nice.
With good Lord willing, we will get through to Reconstruction, 1876, America's first century, hopefully.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and the next book talks about who, in my opinion, is probably the most impactful American,
Mm.
was never president, John Marshall, uh,
Wow.
the longest serving Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And I won't tell you too many secrets, but a phenomenal man, soldier in the Revolution,
Yeah.
Congress, Secretary of State,
Wow.
Justice, devotes his life to the American cause, to the nation. And so
Right.
he's in there, and the War of 1812 is going to be in there,
Wow.
and Thomas Jefferson, the nemesis of
Yes. Yes.
Hamilton and Adams and Washington and Marshall.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that a little
Wow.
bit. But anyway, so I hope we can see each other again. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Next book.
I,
I love it that you're creating this series.
thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I had that was my plan to create more of a series with my summit book, but I ended up writing another couple before doing that. Because it kind of came up of necessity almost that people needed to hear the message.
We're trying to make this whole
Yeah.
history a story rather than just
Yes.
facts. And so
Yeah.
everything flows in chronological order. My
Mm.
videos, my week
Yes. Mm.
stories that I post,
Yes.
because the great American story is really a story
Yes.
told over time, and some of the same people appear till they
Yes.
age out or die out
Yeah.
or whatever. But it's a great story, and if you can tell
Mhm.
it in a meaningful, interesting way, I think people will enjoy it.
They really will. They really will. So, okay, the website, you've got Americana Corner, and you can find all of the links there right now for your book and everything. Is that correct? Yes, that's great because I did check, but I think it was when we first booked this, so I just wanted to make sure that was all up. To find out all the links will be there. It's really well done. It's a beautiful website. So thank you so much for sharing and for all this information and just the delight it is that you have this another book. Because last time when we had the interview, you said, "Yeah, I'm planning on writing a whole series," and here you are doing it. So, the importance of goals, right?
Well, that's right. That's right.
That's right. And everything that you're doing with the foundation, and now you're equipping them in business, and to be able to keep those foundations running, and their sites, the historical sites. So it's just wonderful to hear about. So
Thank you. I never thought I'd have a chance to do this, and so, what a blessing to do it.
yeah, that's so great. Well, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been a fascinating episode. I never thought I'd be interviewing historical especially back in junior high. I thought, oh my gosh. But this is fascinating. I love your work. And hopefully, everyone will at least click in and just get to know some of the things that you're doing and learn from it and be excited about it.
Thank you so
So,
much.
and thank you so much. And for everyone else, thanks for staying tuned, and make sure that you click in. There's an article coming out with this one. So we'll have all the links there and the previous podcast and your book. Everything will be in there. So you can click in so easily with that. Make sure you get our newsletter as well, goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. And I will look forward to seeing everyone again next time. Bye-bye for now. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I love bringing you insights to help you maximize your skills, resources, and experience at mid-career and beyond, so that you can make your next chapter your most impactful and purposeful yet. I'm Deborah Johnson, and I can't wait to be with you again next time on the Power of After show.